This is a lot of little details that you would have missed in WandaVision episode 5. Now, episode 5 was insane. It was by far the best episode of the whole show so far. And there were so many things that you wouldn't have noticed in this episode that actually mean a lot. In this video, I'm going to cover Easter eggs, hidden details, theories, and just general callbacks that you would have missed. So yeah, let's just get right into it. At the start of the episode here, we see Vision walk into frame with the kid's pacifiers inside his ears. Now, this is actually a direct reference to Frankenstein. Frankenstein was also a man-made machine/monster, and the pacifiers are meant to represent the bolts inside his necks because they look the exact same. They were also both brought to life with a massive bolt of lightning. It doesn't mean anything, but it is a cool little reference. Next up, Agnes walks in and she says this.
Anyway, Auntie Agnes is here and I've got a couple of tricks up my sleeve.
Now this, of course, is a little shout out to the fact that she is actually the witch Agatha Harkness from the comics, and that the tricks up her sleeves are literally magic. Also, throughout this whole episode, every time the children age up, Agnes is nearby, and I'll get onto that later. This is also a direct reference to a comic book where Agatha Harkness, the witch, actually looks after the twins for Wanda and Vision. Now, if you take a look at this photo, the sofa has two pillows that are a different colour. One is red and one is blue. This is also a direct reference to the original Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch and their general colour scheme in the comics and in the movies. It's pretty cool if you know what happens on later in the episode. Now, much like every other episode, we hear Agnes say this.
Lavender. Supposed to have a calming effect. Ralph sprays it on me every night, but there's no taming this tiger. What?
And of course, Ralph is mentioned in every single episode. We have never seen him, we don't know who he is, but I think he is Mephisto or the Grim Reaper, and again, I'll get onto that later. Now, moving forward to the intro sequence here, which takes a lot of inspiration from Growing Pains. We see really funny and comical, but we see photos of Vision as a baby. Well, of course, we know this didn't happen because we literally watched how he got created in Age of Ultron. But this, I think, is a reference to the fact that his kids are also skipping childhood. Vision didn't get time to be a baby, neither did the kids, as you see in this episode. They skip past babies, toddlers, all the way up to 10-year-olds. Now, outside the Westview and Monica. She wakes up on a bed outside in the sword base, and we see on this computer screen that her readings are completely blank when she gets her tests. I think this is a hint that we are in fact getting Photon, as if you did not know, Monica Rambeau turns into Photon in the comics. I also think we actually saw her obtain her powers last episode, as if you look closely in this scene, you can see the red energy, and mix that with breaking through the hex. I think all the energy in Wanda's powers, everything to do with the magic around Westview just manifested inside her body, and that's why her readings are blank. I think we're going to get Photon and Captain Marvel too, as a sidekick or even another main hero. Now back in the sword base again, and we see Tyler Hayward, and he says this.
Does Maximoff have an alias?
No, sir.
No funny nickname?
Not a one.
And this got me thinking, we haven't actually heard Scarlet Witch's name be mentioned, her actual comic book name. But then we do know in next episode that she dresses up as a Scarlet Witch, as the Scarlet Witch from the comic books. Now this got me thinking, I think next episode, we're going to actually, for the first time, hear Wanda referred to as Scarlet Witch, or the Scarlet Witch, which will be pretty cool. Again in the sword base, and back over to Monica, Wu, and Darcy, and we hear this.
She could have taken out Thanos on her own if he hadn't initiated a blitz. I mean, nobody else came close.
Well, I'd argue that Captain Marvel came close.
Now pay attention to Monica's face because the mention of Captain Marvel seems to annoy her or unsettle her, make her feel uncomfortable, and I was wondering why, as her mum and Captain Marvel were like best friends. I have a couple theories. One of them is that maybe she just abandoned them while the mum was ill and she didn't go to visit them enough, and that's why she doesn't like her too much. The other one is a bit of a far-fetched theory, but Monica's mum could have possibly got the cancer from Captain Marvel's radiation. I don't know, it's just a little theory. It's probably really far-fetched, but that would be a cool storyline to explore inside Captain Marvel too. Now with the Kevlar suits, we find out that Monica's bulletproof clothes carried over into Westview were changed into her 70s costume, and then it also carried out when she came back through the hex. Now this is interesting, that means that anything is created inside Westview can come to the outside world and it won't change. That way if Vision was dead, he went in and they resurrected him, whether it's Wanda or some other bigger force that I'll talk about later. That means that if Vision comes out of the hex, he won't instantly drop dead. He won't go back to a grey Vision with a Mind Stone outside his head. He will keep his appearance, he'll keep his form, and he'll be back to a powerful, full-bodied Vision. Now, there's a lot of rumours going around who this big cameo is going to be inside WandaVision, and this scene here might be an Easter egg as to who it could be, and who I actually personally want it to be. This scene here where Wanda turns all the guns on Director Hayward is a direct parallel to when her dad, Magneto, if you didn't know that, Wanda's dad is Magneto. In the first X-Men film, he pretty much does the exact same thing. He takes all the guns from the police officers and turns them on themselves. It's similar, just with their different powers being used in the process. This is a really cool parallel, and if this is a hint to Magneto joining, that will be the best thing ever. He's one of my favourite characters of all time. Now, skip forward a few seconds, we see Monica head back into the Hex, and she turns it from the normal blue static colour to a completely red Reality Stone Wanda Scarlet Witch colour. This is pretty cool. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but it's pretty obvious that the colours represent turning from good to evil, like she snapped when she went outside or when they're spying on her with the drone. Blue obviously representing good, turning to red because she's annoyed now, she's angry, and things are getting more serious. Now, the advert of the episode, Legos paper towels. This is a direct reference to earlier in Wanda's life in Civil War, where she blew up the building in Legos. The red liquid represents the blood spilled there, as she devastated a whole building and caused many casualties. But it also, and I've just noticed this, and a few other people have too, each commercial has represented an Infinity Stone so far, so let me know what you think about this. We have the Mind Stone in the toaster from episode 1. In episode 2 we have the watch, which represents the Time Stone. In episode 3 we have the Hydra Soak in the blue box, which reflects the Tesseract. And now in this episode we have the red liquid, which reflects the Reality Stone or the Reality Ether from Thor the Dark World. I don't know what it means yet. I'm sure the next 2 commercials we get will complete the 6 Infinity Stones, and I can't wait to find out what that means for the show. Now skip forward to later on in the episode where Sparky the dog is dead. The kids start asking their mum whether she can resurrect the dog, whether she can bring him back from the dead, and she gives this speech explaining why she can't do that, why she can't bring things back from the dead.
Okay, we can't rush aging just because it's convenient. And we can't reverse death, no matter how sad it makes us.
However, earlier in the episode we learned that she resurrected Vision.
So Maximoff stormed our facility, stole the Vision's body, and resurrected him.
Now, if she is telling the truth and she can't bring people back from the dead, that means that someone else has done it. Who could that be? It could be Mephisto, the devil. It's quite a common thing in movies and anything to do with the devil and the underworld, that people can make deals with the devil, sell their soul in order to bring back a loved one. It's a very common thing. It also could be the Grim Reaper, which has been hinted at throughout the show, and the Grim Reaper obviously is death himself. He can bring anyone back from death. This could be a little hint that it's not her controlling everything, and that it is in fact Mephisto or the Grim Reaper. Now, after Vision found out that something was up at his work, he goes home to confront Wanda. Up until now we thought he was a dead corpse that's been puppeted by Wanda, controlled by her, but not now. He's starting to think for himself. This is actually very interesting because it's exactly like his father figure. We know that Ultron created Vision, and Ultron initially was a robot that was created to be controlled and then broke free and started to think for himself. Vision is doing exactly what Ultron done. Maybe not as sinister, but he's there to be controlled by Wanda, and he's breaking free and starting to think for himself. That's very cool, and I would love to see Ultron feature again in the future of the MCU.
Reboot. Legionnaire S got a buggy suit.
Terrible noise. And I was tangled in strings. Had to kill the other guy. He was a good guy.
Now, the massive part of the whole episode, the bit that we all went crazy for, the bit that I personally freaked out for in my reaction, which you can go and watch. It's a very cool video. It's got a lot of views at the moment, which I'm happy about. Pietro / Peter / Quicksilver shows up at the end of the episode. We all knew it was coming, it was pretty obvious, but the question is how or why? Why is he there? How has he became there? Wanda says it wasn't her that done it, so someone else may have done it, or she just done it without thinking about it, which could imply that she's losing control of her powers. Now, a lot of people have pointed out that in this frame right here you can actually see the hand in the mirror and it's bright red. This could imply that it is Mephisto the devil pretending to be Pietro / Peter just to keep an eye on Wanda closely, or to keep an eye on Wanda and Vision as he's starting to suspect things aren't as they should be. I don't know exactly what this means yet. I'm very, very excited to find out, but I do know that it opens the door for any single X-Men from the Fox universe to join the MCU in any upcoming project, which is the most exciting thing I could possibly think of. I love the X-Men just as much, if not more than the Avengers, and they're my favourite characters, and I cannot wait to see them in the MCU. That's it for this episode. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments, because I will read every single one of them. I want to know what you guys think of this episode, of course. I'm just super excited for the next episode. Every single week it gets better. I will have my reactions up, of course, next week. If you want to talk about WandaVision with other people like myself and many other people that are obsessed with it, click the link in my description to my Discord server. We have a massive community where everyone talks about this stuff, other Marvel projects, Star Wars, all things like that. It's great fun. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much, and I'll see you all next time.